What is your thought on this when the president says affordability is a Democrat con job? Are you part of that con?
It's absurd. It's one thing for the president to try to gaslight the American people about the immigrants that they're deporting, who are almost all nonviolent, non-criminals, or some bogus accusation about the Department of Justice or whatever. But you can't lie to people about their pocketbooks. People are feeling it every week, every month. They have to make ends meet. And this president is making it so much more difficult for the vast majority of Americans to do that. So he can try to gaslight them by calling it a hoax, calling it a con job, but it's the money is coming out of their own wallets. So I don't know how he's going to do that. And the reality is that this economy is going in the wrong direction, and that the president has betrayed so many of his campaign promises.
You're up with a new tax on the wealthiest Americans. I think the name of it here, I just want to get this right, is the Wealth Inequity Bill. Where would that tax kick in? And would that actually help to make the difference in what a lot of people describe as a K-shaped economy?
Yeah, so this is called the Robin Hood Act, which is designed to put an excise tax on loans that are taken out against assets. Stocks and other similar assets. And the idea here is to tackle this massive wealth inequality by targeting the people who are not paying their fair share. Jeff Bezos pays a 1% effective tax rate. Elon Musk pays a 3% effective tax rate. So the reason they do that, I should say, is because they take loans out against their Tesla stock or their SpaceX stock or their Amazon stock. They don't pay tax on those loans. The assets appreciate. When they die, they then go to the next generation with a stepped-up basis: buy, borrow, die. That is why we have so much wealth inequality, because if you have assets, your wealth has skyrocketed. If you are a wage earner, your wealth has, on a relative basis, gone down. This bill targets that loophole and makes sure that these billionaires are going to pay their fair share of taxes, that can pay for universal child care, can pay for universal pre-K for 4-year-olds, can pay for lowering the prices of so many things that Americans struggle with.
This hits individuals making more than $400,000 a year, joint filers at more than $450,000. So you'd be putting a tax on yourself here, right?
I would, yes. And those thresholds are really just what your income is and for when you were to take out these loans. And I think a lot of the details will be hashed out in committee. But the point here is that this is a $300 billion tax avoidance scheme over 10 years. It's a tremendous amount of revenue. And rather than use a complicated system like a wealth tax or even dabble with marginal tax rates, income tax rates, salary earners, wage earners pay plenty of taxes, especially in New York. This targets very specifically a narrow band of people who are super wealthy and who avoid paying tax because their wealth is not based on their income.
President Trump was asked in an interview with Politico how he would rate his own economy. He said A++++++. 5 pluses. How would you grade it?
I rated an F. I think it's been absolutely abominable. Yeah, the tariffs have been terrible for the American people. Prices are going up. Inflation continues to go up. The haves are getting wealthier. There's massive corruption where Donald Trump is reaping the profits from his own official position. And billionaires are free to pursue AI or crypto with no regulation. There is no enforcement. If you are a wealthy buddy of Donald Trump, you are doing great. For the other 99% of Americans, things are a lot worse than they were a year ago.
Just to keep everyone honest here, how would you have graded Joe Biden's economy when he was leaving office?
That's a good question. It was certainly not an A+++++.
Fair enough. I want to ask you, based on your position on the Homeland Security, committee, Congressman, about what's going on in the waters off of Venezuela. It's not just the double tap strike. It's the entire operation as a whole that people are asking about, and what the aim is here, if it's anything less than regime change. In an exclusive sit-down with Politico that I already referred to, he spoke with Dasha Burns. The president was asked about the recent moves on Venezuela. I want you to hear this exchange and get your reaction. Let's listen.
So how far would you go to take Maduro out of office?
I don't want to say that,
But you want to see him out?
his days are numbered.
Can you rule out an American ground invasion?
I don't want to rule in or out. I don't talk about it.
Would you like to have heard the president rule out boots on the ground?
Well, given how much he has ruled that out as a general policy matter, given how much he has talked about regime change as not being the right pathway toward foreign policy, I question why in this particular case that he believes that that's appropriate. I think the legal basis for his attacks on the boats is very dubious. And he is picking a battle that does not seem to be one that is necessary or one that the American people are really, really concerned about. I would much rather that he spend his time either focusing on the economy or helping Ukraine, a democratic ally, facing off against a dictatorship that has invaded its independent sovereign territory. That's where his efforts, to the extent that they are focused overseas, should be directed. Yes, we certainly have an issue with cartels, but blowing up boats, smaller boats on the, some seemingly randomly off the coast is not something that I think any American, or most Americans, I should say, really think is where our focus should be.
Yeah. Congressman, some news today that looks like it's going to hit close to home for you. City Controller Brad Lander is expected to announce a campaign tomorrow to challenge you, likely with the endorsement, we understand, of the mayor-elect. What would be your message to Mr. Lander?
Well, right now, I'm laser focused on the job that we have to do here in Washington and in New York City. My constituents are suffering from rising health care prices, from food insecurity, and many from the terror that the ICE and immigration enforcement officers are wreaking on not only immigrant communities, but communities all throughout the city. And that's where my attention is lying. I am trying to figure out ways to navigate a Congress down here that is dysfunctional, but that we can use our position and our power to help protect the constituents that I serve. There'll be plenty of time, I'm sure, for politics next year, whether it's against Brad or anyone else. But right now, I'm focused on doing my job.
You don't sound worried. Are you guys friends, Congressman?
We have worked together in the past on a number of different issues, and so I certainly don't have any ill will towards him, but we'll see.
Sure.
We'll see what happens. But I'm proud to be putting my record on the line here in Congress over my 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of my record. I'm proud of the work that I've done standing up for democracy, standing up against a rogue administration that is trying to take down the government that is the foundation of this country. And I have a lot of experience doing that, going up against Donald Trump, leading the first impeachment investigation, and I've been using that creatively and aggressively in my 3 years, and I look forward to continuing to do that.